Hi, Todd Christy here from the Michigan Dental Association Board of Trustees, your Speaker of the House. I want to bring you up to date on something that you voted for back last year at the annual meeting from the House of Delegates, and that was for the House of Delegates Board and Communications Workgroup. So we put together a work group to go through and evaluate, or actually to find new ways or look at different ways to go through so you could evaluate the trustees better, than just what you had in the past. I know that was one of the big concerns and challenges that some people had, so this work group went through, evaluated different methods, talked about it. We had 2 meetings in person and 1 virtual meeting as well, just to try things out and see how it works. So I'll run through the resolutions that will be presented to the board here in 2 weeks. They've actually just got them in the board packet. And if you want to get a copy of that board packet as well, please let Michelle Cruz know and they can get one sent out to you. For this, the first resolution was that the Board of Trustees consider holding virtual Board of Trustee forums for House members prior to each board meeting. So probably what we're looking at would be the week before. You'd have 3 of the trustees on. You'd have a packet that you'd be able to get a hold of the packet so you know what's going on at the board meeting that's coming up. They could present. Might be an opportunity for getting questions. We're not looking at a very long forum. It's not going to be 2 or 3 hours going with this, but just to have that forum. And so you have an opportunity to see how those trustees, how they look at issues, what they're looking at. You'll be able to provide feedback or input potentially as well for what's going on. The next one, resolve that the Board of Trustees consider component outreach by attending component board meetings virtually or in person. One of the big things I know from when I was a delegate and alternate, anytime I was serving on a board, was it was hard to get that outreach from all around, especially now given our governance structure. This is one great way that you could reach out for whether you're in Ishpeming or down in Ithaca or down in Battle Creek. That you could have it from one of the trustees that could virtually come in just like this with a camera and with their computer and be able to at least participate, give you feedback of what's going on, take your feedback back to the board as well, and that way you can provide that. And so this is one way that they looked at it for the outreach, because if you can realize that travel coming down 2.5, 3 hours, 6-hour drive for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, this way you might get more interaction with your trustees for sure with doing that. And so the workgroup.desk is a good way to do it. The next resolution was that the Board of Trustees continue to send board representatives to the on-site regional caucuses during annual session. This began a few years back, but to the person, those individuals that were in the work group really felt this was important. So when you're at the House of Delegates on the Saturday morning meeting as a caucus, that you have a Board of Trustees member who is assigned to yours, who's not from your region. And so that means we spread those individuals out across there. They really felt strongly that this was a great way to get to know the trustees. Next, resolve that the Board of Trustees consider amending the board's self-report to include questions of substance in addition to the current information. Look, what you complained about a lot, or some folks did, was that it was just a whole bunch of information, just facts, what meetings they attended, what phone calls they took. This one would include what they look at including with this. The recommendation would be to ask questions that you might see on the application to become a trustee. So hard to say exactly. They'll let the board look at this to find out what questions. So a question of substance. What did you feel, what was a strong thing that we had this year to deal with? What do you see in the future going forward as challenges? Those kind of questions. If you went through and pulled up on the MDA site for those applications that came through for all the leadership roles, those kind of questions could be added to this so you get a better flavor of how each individual looks at it. The last one that we had was the resolve that the Board of Trustees consider holding a virtual town hall meeting for members in January to provide updates on MDA activities and a question and answer session. So this one is something new. I know we're going to have our we're going to have a town hall meeting that's going to be part of the annual session. Excited to see that as well. But this one will be in January. Now, why would you have that meeting in January? Well, the work group felt that this way, if there's anything that members are having challenges with, that would be great for letting the board know. It might be something, if it's strong enough, that the board wants to look at addressing at the February board meeting. So this would give adequate time for preparation, at least to have the discussion and potential resolutions that could be completed by the board and brought to the House for what you'd see at the annual session. So one more thing to look at. If you, like I said, go through, you can take a look at the all the information that's coming out for this board meeting as well. You can request that. We'll get that emailed out to you so you can see it. Read through this. Is more in the background, obviously, than what I had. given you here in this brief few minutes here. I'm trying to keep it brief, trust me. But I wanted to also reach out and also say a big thank you to Dr. Tony Awesome, Dr. Jonathan Burns, Dr. Lisa Christie, Dr. Margaret Gingrich, Dr. Mark Johnston, Dr. Jim Papp, Dr. Elizabeth Ralstrom, Dr. Bob Richards, and Dr. Steve Sofaro. All of them, thank you so much for your input and your hard work in getting this accomplished this year. Again, if you have any questions, my information is always on here. You can reach out to me by phone, by email as well. Look forward to talking to you, and have a great day, and also, happy Thanksgiving.